I'm bi. That's awful. Hey y'all! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Evelyn, and today we are discussing my most anticipated LGBTQ+ reads of the first half of 2020. The way that publishing is. The second half of the year, release dates are very sparse. In like May or June, I'll come back and I'll do another video where I talk about the second half of the year. So this is just books from January, which is now, to I believe July. These are not all of the LGBT stories coming out this year, but it is all of the ones that I am anticipating and would like to try to pick up. I want to make 2020 my most diverse reading year yet, and this is just one opportunity for that. I've done my best to research and clarify exactly what makes each of these books LGBT, and then also if there are other things represented that I can for sure tell you about, I will. I'm going to try and get this posted as early as possible, but a few of these might have released by the time this video goes up, and if so, go find them. First, we have We Used to Be Friends by Amy Spalding, which is set to release on January 7th. Our two main characters, James, who is a girl with a boy's name, and her best friend Kat, have been inseparable since kindergarten, but by the end of their senior year of high school, they are no longer friends. James is worried about heading off to college, and her parents have just announced that they are getting divorced. Meanwhile, Kat is getting caught up in the romance of having her first girlfriend, and the story follows these two as their friendship slowly unravels as they grow apart over time. I have a feeling this is going to hurt me in similar ways to They Both Die at the End or Hadestown, where like I've been told what's gonna happen, but I'm still gonna hold out hope that like something's gonna change in the final hour and they're not gonna actually stop being friends, right? But I know that they are, and that's gonna break me a little bit, but I'm very prepared for it. Next we have Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. This releases also on January 7th, 2020, and it is the first book in a series. This is a fantasy set, gender-swapped retelling of the Count of Monte Cristo with a demisexual main character. Amaya is seeking revenge on the man who ruined her family and destroyed her life, and she ends up crossing paths with the son of this guy who she's trying to get revenge on, and starts to uncover different truths about her past. It sounds kind of dark and mysterious and dangerous, possibly. Next we have Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera, the first book in his Infinity Cycle, and that releases on January 14th. Two brothers, Emil and Brighton, live in a magical version of New York, populated by Celestials, those who have magical powers, and Spectres, those who steal them away from the Celestials. The Spellwalkers are this vigilante group of Celestials who want to rid the world of the Spectres. Brighton longs to have a power of his own that would allow him to join the fight, but it's the more peaceful Emil who ends up manifesting a power. There's a gay main character in this book, as with all Adam Silvera, queer, you know, but this is his first like straight fantasy. Adam and I have a very inconsistent history. I've loved two of his books and DNF'd two of his books. I really liked They Both Die at the End, second time I'm mentioning it in this video, and that was his like most speculative fiction and the closest to fantasy, so I feel like possibly I will really enjoy this. And also there's something to do with phoenixes. He's been like teasing phoenixes like a lot, and I recently have been like, phoenixes, so I'm excited. Next, we have The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper, which releases on February 4th. Cal is used to sharing his life on the internet. He is, after all, a successful social media journalist with 500,000 followers. But when his father is selected for a NASA mission to Mars, Cal's family is thrown into the media spotlight. When they relocate from Brooklyn to Houston, Cal meets and falls for his fellow Astro Kid, Leon. But things might not be all they seem when it comes to this program. This concept excites me. Like, are you kidding me? Like, space exploration, romance, but it's like from a like Earth, modern day, like NASA. I don't know why. I'm just very excited. Next we have When We Were Magic by Sarah Gailey, which releases on March 3rd. Alexis and her friends are inseparable. After all, friends who practice magic together stay together. But when some accidental magic leaves a boy dead, prom night gets very complicated. The tagline for this book is actually what hooked me. It's, keeping your magic a secret is hard. Being in love with your best friend is harder. I love, like, books with friend groups. Like, strong friend groups. And this seems super fun. It's like that one movie where they kill the guy, except like fantasy. That one movie where they kill the guy. That's super duper specific and not at all vague, Evelyn. Only Mostly Devastated by Sophie Gonzalez releases on March 3rd. I actually have an e-arc of this book currently through NetGalley, so thank you so much to the publisher. I'm forgetting the publisher right now, but they granted my wish and I'm so excited about it. I've already started it and so far it's really good, and I will of course let you know what I think when I finish it. But when Ollie met Will over summer break, he thought he'd found his happily ever after. That is until the end of summer when Will stops texting him back. Then a family emergency ends with Ollie attending a new school all the way across the country, which ends up to be Will's school. Ollie discovers that the Collinswood High version of Will hasn't come out yet, and on top of that, he's kind of a jerk. If you're thinking, this sounds familiar, that's because this book is pitched as Simon Versus meets Clueless inspired by Grease, which that's like 3 very iconic, like, teen culture things. That's a lot to live up to, story-wise, but it excites me. Hopefully Sophie Gonzalez has left out the change in every aspect of your personality to please a man aspect of Grease. Right? Although I do love the song You're the One That I Want. It's a verified bop. Not a fan of the bad messages. Next we have Super Adjacent by Crystal Sestari, which releases on March 17th. Claire has always dreamed of working with superheroes, so when she scores an internship with the Chicago branch of Warrior Nation, she is determined to prove that even without powers, she belongs there. But things get a little complicated working with Warnat's newest hero, Girl Power, aka the egotistical, self-important, and adorable Joy. Meanwhile, Bridget is ready to get out of Warnat. Her boyfriend Matt, aka the famous vaporizer, always puts the citizens of Chicago before her, and she is tired of it. But when Joy, Matt, and the rest of the heroes disappear, it's up to Claire and Bridget to save the day. Yay for superheroes. Double yay for more sapphic superheroes. Oh my gosh, so if you guys know me, you know that I am a sucker for superhero stories. Be that books, movies, TV shows, there's something about a secret identity that pleases me. Next we have Queen of Coin and Whispers, which releases April 6th. Leah is a teenage queen who just inherited a bankrupt kingdom from her corrupt uncle. She finds herself surrounded by dangerous plots and hidden enemies, so she brings in a new spy master, a girl named Xenia, who is seeking to avenge her murdered father. In order to survive, the two must learn to rely and trust each other. Verona Comics by Jennifer Dugan releases April 21st, 2020. Jubilee is a talented cellist splitting her time between working in her stepmother's indie comic shop and practicing for a life-changing audition. Ridley is struggling at life. His parents are busy running the biggest comic book store chain in the country, and when they have time to pay attention to him, it's usually because they're disappointed in him. When Jubilee and Ridley meet at a Comic-Con prom, they fall for each other like that. But the feud between their families would make it nearly impossible for them to have a relationship, unless it's in secret. So Jennifer herself has said that this book is about a male-female bi couple. She called out people on the internet for being heteronormative, and it was cool. She has also stated that there is female-female representation as well as general anxiety disorder representation, which I really appreciate because that's my issue. And I always love seeing that depicted in characters and then being like, haha, I do that. The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea by Maggie Taduka Hall releases May 5th. Flora, a former starving urchin, has taken on the identity of a man named Florian in order to survive aboard the pirate ship Dub. But she finds herself being drawn to the Lady Evelyn, who is on board on her way to an arranged marriage. The two of them launch an escape, liberating a captured mermaid in the process, and are soon caught up in a swashbuckling adventure inspired by Asian folklore. That description rang some bells for me, and I was like, potential Tracy Chee vibes. You all know I love Tracy Chee's Reader trilogy, and if I got something like that, but like the main characters are queer, I would be down. Next we have Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn, which releases May 7th. This is the first book in a historical fantasy series set during the French Revolution. Camille is the daughter of a revolutionary and the leader of Bataillon des Morts, a group of outcast girls who save people from death via guillotine. Their latest rescue is a girl with dark and mysterious powers that make her a target for both the royalists and the revolutionaries. I've recently been getting more and more into historical fantasy, and the French Revolution is such just a messy, interesting time period. Also, my best friend and I have an inside joke about a guillotine, so like... Next is Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Bachardot, and I don't have the release date written down here because I am good at my job, but I will put it up on the screen now. Yeah, okay, whatever that says. Trust editing, Evelyn. Soraya has lived her whole life hidden away from her family, safe only in her gardens, for she is cursed to be poisonous to the touch. Trapped in the dungeons below her is a demon who may have the answer to her freedom, but when her choices lead to unintended consequences, Soraya begins to question if she is more princess or monster. So this has been described as very fairy tale-esque, which is something I am always interested in, and it has a bisexual main character, which is also something I'm very interested in, so I'm very excited to read this book whenever it comes out. Next we have The Scapegracers by Hannah Abigail Clark. Again, didn't write down the release date for this. I think I got kind of tired when I was finishing up this list, but again, I'll put it on the screen right now. Okay, Sideways Pike, seriously, apparently that is her name, is an outcast teenage lesbian witch, which means she's at the very bottom of the West High social ladder, which is why it's very unexpected for the 3 most popular girls in school to approach her about casting a spell at their Halloween party. And it's even more unexpected when the 4 of them become friends and form a very powerful coven. They plan parties together, they curse dude bros together, and they search for a girlfriend for Sideways together. But as it turns out, having friends can be sort of difficult. I read somewhere about this book that it subverts the whole mean girl trope and instead just focuses on dark, powerful female friendship, and so I don't think we're gonna get like a Carrie moment or like a Mean Girls moment where it's like, oh, we weren't actually friends all along, which is very exciting to me because like the idea of like girls who have nothing in common being bonded by like being powerful, like that's cool and I want to read about that. Next we have I Kissed Alice by Anna Birch, which releases on May 26, 2020, and I am so upset that I have to wait that long because once I read this description, I was sold. Rhodes is a gifted artist who has always excelled at Alabama's Conservatory of the Arts, but is secretly struggling with artist block. Ileana is an intensely competitive transfer student looking to outshine her classmates. Competition between the two girls is fierce because only one of them can receive the capstone scholarship. But at the same time, the two girls both go onto this fanfiction website to blow off steam, and their anonymous fanfic identities, I Kissed Alice and Curious in Cheshire, have been collaborating on a graphic novel, and they're starting to like each other a lot. Not only is this sapphic, but it's sapphic fandom culture, and it's sapphic fandom culture with one of my favorite tropes of all time. Next we have Camp by L.C. Rosen, which releases on May 26th. Camp Outland, a camp for queer teens, is 16-year-old Randy Kappelhoff's favorite place to spend the summer. He met his best friends there. Every year he gets to go on stage and perform there, and Hudson Aronson Lim is there. He is the boy that Randy is in love with, but he is only into straight acting guys, and Randy is definitely not that. Which is why this year he has reinvented himself as the buff and masculine Dell to get Hudson to fall in love with him. If We Were Us by K.L. Walther releases on June 1st. When it comes to Sage Morgan and Charlie Carmichael, everyone ships it. It's only a matter of time before the two of them realize that they are in love with each other. However, Charlie is finding himself drawn to this new student, Luke, and Sage has been spending more and more time with Charlie's twin brother, Nick. And as their respective relationships become more complicated, the two of them have to rely even more on their friendship to figure it out. So I'm excited because it seems like this book is tackling the age-old question of, can a guy and a girl be friends without them wanting to kiss each other's faces? The Dark Tide by Alicia Jansinka releases on June 1st. Apparently this is based on an ancient Scottish fairy tale ballad. So every month, Candela's Witch Queen takes a boy to sacrifice to keep their island from like sinking into the ocean. Our main character, Lila, thinks that the queen is going to take her brother, so she enlists the help of her crush Thomas, and Thomas ends up being the one who's actually taken, and Lila blames herself, so she decides to go save him. She ends up getting caught breaking into the palace and agrees to take Thomas's place as the sacrifice. And in the month leading up to the full moon, she ends up bonding with the queen and they start to fall in love. And next we have 6 Angry Girls by somebody. I didn't write their name down. The further into this list we go, the more I half-assed it, apparently. This follows Raina Petrie, who has just been dumped by both her boyfriend and her drama club, and Millie, who's been voted off of her all-boys mock trial team. After an unlikely meeting, Raina inspires Millie to start her own team with 4 other angry girls to smash the patriarchy and kick some mock trial butt. I've heard that there is an asexual main character in this book. I actually had other ace books that were on my radar, but they all release in the second half of 2020, so if you're looking for more ace rep, keep your eyes peeled for that. Subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon so you can be notified whenever I post the video, because it will happen eventually, I do promise. Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas releases on June 9th. Yadriel is determined to prove to his traditional Latinx family that he is a real boy and a real brujo by summoning the ghost of his murdered cousin. However, he accidentally summons the ghost of Julian Diaz, resident bad boy, who is determined to tie up some loose ends before he has to return to wherever he came from. This book has a trans Latinx main character. The description just says Latinx, so I'm not sure what culture is actually represented. I will try to put in a little more research and editing. Evelyn might be able to tell you. But I am really excited for this. The cover looks actually gorgeous, and I feel like the detail about the murdered cousin is just kind of thrown in there. I'm like, maybe there's a connection here, maybe a mystery happening. I mean, there definitely is, because Julian has some shit going on that he needs to figure out, but I'm just very excited. This kind of gives me Brooklyn Brujas vibes, which I really love those books, and so an even queerer version of that, maybe? Or just a differently queer version of that. Like, maybe they would be friends. I don't know. Anyway, I just get excited about Latinx magic, so yeah. I'll be the one. It's the first book in a contemporary series by an author whose name I didn't write down, but again, I'll put it here. It's only the second day of the new year. I was writing this list yesterday, January 1st, and I'd gotten like 5 hours of sleep. But I know when it releases, and that is June 16th. This book has a plus-size bisexual Asian main character, Sky Shin, who has always heard that fat girls shouldn't draw attention to themselves. Dancing, singing, wearing bright colors, all things that are frowned upon by society and also her mother. But Sky dreams of being a K-pop star, so she auditions alongside thousands of other hopefuls for an internationally televised competition that is searching for the next big thing in K-pop. And she nails it. She finds herself swept up into the glamorous, drama-filled, fat-phobic world of the Korean pop industry, and sparks begin to fly between her and her fellow competitor, Henry Cho, but she needs to keep her head in the game if she wants to win. I feel like I'm going to love it. Even though I don't know much about K-pop, I do like these kind of television competition shows. I've gotten very into them recently, having Hulu, and for the first time being able to access them because my family didn't have cable when I was growing up. And then also a bisexual main character, so I'm gonna read it regardless. The cover is absolutely gorgeous and like happy and beautiful, and I want to be friends with the girl on that cover, and so I need to read this book so I can feel like Sky and I are friends. Yeah. That is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below and tell me which one of these queer books are you the most excited to read in 2020. And also, if you have another one that you're really excited about, drop it down below. Let me know, especially if it comes out in the second half of the year, because like I said, I will be making another video in June talking about the second half of the year's releases. Also, I'm gonna do a couple more lists of anticipated books in different categories, so keep your eyes and ears tuned for that. Click that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you can be notified. With that being said, my name is Evelyn. I make new videos every magical Monday, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.